welcome to Legacy IAS. So today we are here to discuss the 2026 CSAT paper, okay, the analysis of it and what should be the way forward. Okay, I know like many people struggled in this paper and they must have gone through a lot of emotions and there was a lot of outrage, everything came about. But what we must do now is basically understand and analyze it very honestly, very quietly, in a calm manner, and then try to look at what should be the way forward going for the next attempt if we want to give the next attempt. Okay, so now let's get started. We will deal everything very rationally and eventually get to the way forward. Let's start. First thing, if you look at the paper, this was the distribution of questions. Okay, now quant being the biggest section or the most important section as always. Okay, this year also there were 36 questions. Okay, it has always been above 35 in last few years. Okay, then the reasoning was 14 questions. This was also similar to what has been over the last 3-4 years. Now the changes came in these two parts. Now reading comprehension, usually it used to be 27 questions for many years. In 2025 it was 30 questions, so people got very happy. But this year they suddenly reduced it to 23 questions, which is the lowest till date. This is the lowest till date, lowest number of questions from reading comprehension till date. Now this was a complete bouncer, which is interpersonal skills. So there is one thing that is written in the syllabus called interpersonal skills. They never asked question on it for the last 13-14 years. Suddenly they asked 7 questions. Okay, I will tell you that why I think they asked suddenly these questions. Okay, so you understand this, that this and this is fine. Where people, what changed the dynamic entirely for students was this RC being so low in number, and we'll also understand how RCs this year was different from other years, completely different. Nobody is talking about it, but RCs were very different from other years. We'll understand that. And this interpersonal skill is the second major thing that changed. Now, let's get started. So these are the this is our YouTube channel and this is my Telegram channel that you can follow. Here we'll bring initiatives throughout the year so that we are ready for 2027. Okay, so follow these and you will be taken care of. If provided you put your effort, you will be taken care of for CSAT in 2027. Okay, then let's move forward. Now, so reading comprehension, now understand this. So basically, first thing, there were only 11 passages this time, only 11 passages, and in those there were 23 questions. So how it was divided, actually there were 11 in 11 passages, there were 10 passages which had 2 questions each, correct, and there was one passage that had 3 questions. This is how it was divided, correct. So this becomes 20 plus 3, 23 questions. Now what made it very difficult, understand that. So most questions essentially were given in RC or not. They were not going too much in detail in what is the inference, okay, or what are the assumptions that the author has taken. All those complicated things were not asked. Now seemingly simple thing was asked, that essentially the whole paper was, is this given in RC or not. You will understand when I will tell you that why it was still very difficult. Now what made it very difficult was the length of it. It was very lengthy in the way that usually when we do conclusion based, inference based questions, what is that? The question is, what is the conclusion crux of the passage? Like those questions used to be a lot in previous years. Now here they have asked what are the possible conclusions and all, but now here they have given like 1, 2, 3, 4. They have given 4 conclusions. Now of course any passage cannot have really 4 crux or 4 conclusion statements. So essentially what was asked is this given in RC or not? This was the core thing that was asked. Now if I tell you the exact numbers, so there were 10 direct questions like these, Okay, 10 direct questions, which is directly it was asking according to the passage, which of the following are correct. This didn't used to come in UPSC. Okay, it used to come in 2015, 16, those times, but after that they have switched to conclusions and assumptions, inferences, like that. Okay, so this is something new, that is direct questions. 10 direct questions came. Then conclusion based questions, if we talk about, there were 11 conclusion based questions. But again, because there were four statements like this was essentially also given or not given. Assumption based question, everybody expected that the number of assumption based questions will increase, but they have suddenly decreased it to two questions only. Correct? Now, is this some new pattern that UPSC has got about that we should follow now? No. My honest answer is no. Basically, they keep on changing this dynamics. They keep on changing what kind of questions are being asked in RC. Their whole point is to keep it dynamic. So this is no pattern that now you will see more direct questions, less assumption question, nothing like this. If anybody is giving you this conclusion, they are just giving you false assumptions from what they want to tell you or want to scare you off. Whatever there might be, whatever reason they might have, but this is essentially this keeps changing. Now, so you understood how the questions were different. In earlier years, essentially most questions were assumption and conclusion. In conclusion, it was mainly about finding out the crux. It used to be about finding out the crux. All about crux. Just one line. You need to know that after reading the passage just thoroughly, what is the crux? That was usually asked. In assumptions also, usually they gave two assumptions. So basically they gave one, or in most questions there were two assumptions. Now here what they did, they replaced it with which of the following is are correct according to the passage. And again in direct questions also they were like four statements, three statements, like that, which made it difficult. So you're understanding. So somebody who was dependent on RC struggled a lot. That's why humanities students, okay, students who were from non-math background, they struggled a lot. Why? Because number of RCs decreased, and as you can see, because the pattern was completely different, and because there were so many statements in each of them, it became very difficult to get even these questions correct. Understood? So it essentially became that what can you do in math and reasoning? Reading comprehensions was there, but it the weightage which it can really provide you to get that 67 marks was lowered here. Understood? Then this was a complete bouncer. Interpersonal skill was complete bouncer. First time it is being given. One, two questions may have come in earlier years, 2013, 14, but after that, nothing. Then, seven questions directly came from this. Seven questions. Now, this is something that I have observed in UPSC. They are trying to make the paper very dynamic. Don't take it as one of the ways or one of the new trends that has to be followed. Suddenly they gave four questions on ethics. Correct? So suddenly also here also they gave seven questions on interpersonal skills. I don't think that every year they will be given seven, eight questions of interpersonal skills, because this is rather easy. Correct? This is rather easy. Just like GS, you can just read a document and then you will be able to answer most of these questions. So I don't think they will be giving this in this amount again. Correct? Now, if you read those questions, we'll do one session in which we solve all those interpersonal skills question first by logic only, and then we'll see theory also. So basically, the questions were simple, but to do them correctly in the exam hall was very difficult. Why? Because you're already panicking. Suddenly you're seeing very low number of passages, and what it has been replaced by? These interpersonal skill questions, which you have not done at all. So that's why people panicked. And they couldn't do this even though it was simple. For example, RBI circular everybody knows. And RBI circular is released for all different groups of people, banks, anybody, newspaper, even people who are preparing for UPSC or RBI exam, they also learn the RBI circular. So it is for everybody. Is it personalized? No. So if you read the four statements, three were saying that circular is some form of communication that is personalized. So you cancel those statements, you get to the answer. Such was the easy level, such easy level of interpersonal skills questions were asked, but because they were so new, people were not able to do it, which I totally understand. It becomes difficult to do in exam. Then the key takeaways: dynamic nature of CSAT paper is, I expect, to continue. This does not mean that now interpersonal skill questions will be a lot in amount. Now, if they do it again, 7, 8 question of interpersonal skills, now people would have prepared. So it won't be dynamic. It won't cause any issues. Correct? So they will put something new every time. So we must be ready about it. Then next, number of questions of cons over the last few years, it has either increased or been constant. RCs has changed like this year, and the pattern also changed, but cons, if you look, cons has increased or remained constant, at least with number of questions you can see this. Then heavy reliance on RC only has been fatal. Okay, people who relied heavily on RC, there were videos I saw in which people had given that score or clear CSAT only by RC, those videos, score 55 plus 60 plus only by RCs. Now all those videos are of no use, as you might have understood. Suddenly the number of questions was reduced, paragraphs were very complicated, 1 2 paragraphs from economy were complicated. Okay, and UPSC also gave 4 5 answers that was completely different from all coaching answer keys and everybody. And I'm not even saying that they have done it correctly. Like, we have also filed representations because 1 2 questions were clearly, the provisional answer key was clearly not correct according to me, okay, and according to many people. But we don't know if UPSC will make those changes. So it became very difficult if you relied on RCs or not. Then choosing wrong questions has stopped many deserving candidates. There were questions in mathematics and reasoning that a student who is decently prepared could do. But there were also questions that were very difficult. Like in my cons solution that I have uploaded on this channel, you will see that at one point I have used graph. Correct, because otherwise some random solution is being given, but it was actually a graph based question. Now now if they had told that we will give questions like this, I would have taught that also, and you would have learned. But the thing is that they give any random thing, any random type. That's why choosing the wrong questions was a major hurdle with people. Then essentially what UPSC is looking for, look, they are in CSAT, they are looking for people who understand things. There is a habit of people that try to manage cons. They want to manage cons, manage math. They have fear of math. Now, for them, it becomes very difficult. Manage math won't work. You must understand things. I am not saying that you become as good as somebody who's just been doing aptitude or mathematics as their was their base when they were doing graduation, or they are from some premium colleges. All those I'm not saying, but whatever you are learning, those parts at least you should understand. Why I'm saying this to you, because they use something known as wrappers. So basically, same question based on LCM, HCF. Like there was a question in which 3 people were jumping, and they all jumped at 199 mark, and then they kept jumping, and then you had to find that how many times will they jump on the same place. Now, it was so difficult for students to decipher what is this question. It was actually a very simple LCM question, but but people were not able to do this. Why? Because they didn't have understanding of what is LCM, how LCM works, why in this particular question we apply LCM. Correct. So they just had learned it as types, and that is what they were trying to check, that do you really understand things. Then have extremely good temperament. Again, very important. Why? Because the paper was given in such a dynamic way. In fact, if I tell you, in most sets, the initial few questions were very tough, the last few questions were very tough. So that even wherever you start feeling some kind of panic and stress. That is what they were testing. So you need very good temperament. If you have temperament, then you can solve those interpersonal skill, all that. How you develop this, all this we'll talk about. Then have covered all sections well. Okay, people who had done, people who are clearing, many of my students are clearing. I get messages every day now that thank you messages also, and other messages that sir, I was not able to do this year, what can I do for next year? All those messages I keep getting. Now people who had done all sections well, decently well, math, reasoning and RC, these people were able to do it. Why? Because suddenly RC was haphazard, correct? So then they were able to manage using math and reasoning. Now, in some years like 2023 and 2025, if I talk about, here many engineers failed. You know why? Because in these years, math was tough. Too many questions of number system, 23, 25 questions of number system, which people in engineering don't really study. Correct? So they struggled here. RCs were fine. Correct? So in these years, those people struggled. In 2026, people from non-math background, they struggled. Why? Because RC was completely off and number of questions of RC was less. That is why doing all sections well is very important. Now, finally, we come to the way forward. So basically, what you should do first, work on math like other subjects. Math, that is quants, is the most reliable subject. People who can do quants, they are confident about CSAT, and the number of questions have only increased for quants or mathematics. Please, it will be difficult for many people, but if we want to give this exam, and of course we have to clear prelims, many people are stopped because of their fear of mathematics. Slowly we will try to develop so that you work on math like other subjects and develop an understanding. Now, don't do this. Some people have started suggesting everywhere that you just start doing those SSC banking question banks. Now, why I'm saying don't do this? Because again, they are also type based exam. So they give one particular type of question and then there are 10 examples. In exam also, two of those comes. Then they release videos also that this new type of question came in NTPC RRB, and then that new type also they will prepare. Now, this type based understanding is not real understanding of mathematics. You can ask those people to sit and explain you why they took this. It will be difficult. Why? Because they have learned to do questions rather than having understanding. Now, this works fine, but when questions are wrapped around, like that question that I gave you an example, then you won't even understand that what you have to apply if you don't have understanding. So don't do this. Don't start doing 100 types of questions. UPSC is trying to actively frame new questions. Okay, so don't do this. Then what you should do is do varied mocks, and don't give leverage to yourself that this mock was too off, this institute is not making good enough mocks, this that. Okay, now what you should be aiming for, which is very hard, is any mock that you give, you should clear all of them. This should be our aim. Whatever is the paper, some random thing here, there, whatever, at least we should be able to score 67. Random mocks you will get all around in the coaching industry now, because the CSAT paper was so dynamic. You will get random mocks here and there, whatever is given. Our aim is what? We clear all of them. I'm not saying you score 150, 100. I am saying you should at least clear all of them. That kind of ability we need to develop. Then adaptability is very important to mitigate absurdness. For this we need to work on how to choose question. So I had made one video that helped many people, 4 or 5 types of questions that they should not do in first go. Correct? I will make more videos. I also made one video in of 2025 paper of what questions I would choose and do. That also you can find on this YouTube channel only. Now I will make more videos on how to choose questions. I think this is a core point where many students are stopped. Then last thing is that you don't have to worry much about CSAT. What is needed is that you put some effort at least weekly. correct? At least take out one day, for example, let's say Sunday. So on Sunday, give at least 1 2 hours to CSAT. Treat it as a proper subject. The way it is going, you will see the cutoffs are so would be so low for GS that essentially if you clear CSAT and you had done decently in GS, you will be given mains. This is the level it has reached now. Okay, so try to give some time weekly. Okay, again, same. You can follow the Telegram channel. Here I will try to guide you. Okay, what can be done, and on this YouTube channel only, you will find videos throughout the year. Throughout the year, you will keep finding videos for practice. The basic core is already covered in the crash course. Okay, that you can watch. 25 videos are there only that you will watch. After that, you need only practice and doing dynamic good questions, not random questions, and that we'll be doing in these platforms. Understood? So this is it for your CSAT analysis as well as the way forward. Please try to follow it, and I promise you, if you follow everything, okay, I keep talking about this on my Telegram channel, what you should do now, motivating and all that. If you keep following whatever I say in 2020 till 2027, I promise you, you will clear CSAT without ifs and buts. Whatever is your background, whatever you are, whatever you have done, whatever you have not done, any person you are, if I have also put my direct contact. If you want to contact on my Telegram channel, you contact me directly. We can make a plan, and if you are ready to put effort, I am ready to put as much effort as you to make you clear CSAT. Okay, we have time. Only thing, you if you are watching this video, you have a person also who is ready to help you in every way. You have time also of 1 year. Now it depends on how much effort and sincerity you show. Okay, this is it. CSAT should not be a problem in next year's exam, whatever UPSC throws at you. This is our aim. With this, I end this video. Thank you.